Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Don't have a name for the channel. I have the name. I mean, Phoenix Night Flame, and stuff. But once again, I'm Spencer. This video is a continuation of my previous one. So yes, I know I can hear you screaming in the background. Not another Last Jedi video, but sorry, this is another video about the Last Jedi. This one, it continues on with my previous one, which was 5 ways of fixing The Last Jedi. At least what I thought, five easy ways it could fix the film. This one is going to be more in depth about a particular scene and ending of how you can fix the Last Jedi. This video is going to be all about fixing and redoing the ending of the film from the Snoke throne room scene. So let's get right into it. So we all know how it went. I mean, Snoke. Spoilers: Snoke dies stupidly. Kylo and Rey fight back to back. They defeat the Praetorian Guard. Blah blah blah. That she's a Mary Sue. He claims that her parents are nobody. She's nobody. All that. You know. If you've seen the film, you know what's going on. So we're gonna change all that. Here we go. Picture this. Scene starts from right when Snoke is holding Rey in above, floating her, holding her in stasis, whatever you want to call it, torturing her. Rey above the ground, she's screaming, all that, and in the background you hear a thud, a loud thump. You see, then picture is still on Snoke with Rey slightly in the foreground, Snoke in the background. You see Snoke look over Rey's shoulder and his eyes widen. The camera backs up, and you see Kylo now in the foreground with Rey and then Snoke in the far back. And he is turned around. He's facing from where the camera is. Rey drops to the floor. Camera switches, and now you see the entrance to the throne room. It's Luke. Luke in Jedi robes, whether it be the dark Jedi robes he wore, the Force projection, or the white and tan ones he was wearing on Octu, whatever. Picture that. Okay. You hear as Snoke or as Skywalker Luke is walking toward the camera. You hear in the background Skywalker in Snoke's hissing voice. The Luke is just ignoring Snoke. He's focused solely on Ben. Luke is trying to plead with Ben, talk to Ben. All of a sudden, you hear Snoke, "Bring me Skywalker's head," or some cliche, whatever version of "bring him head to me," whatever you want to call it. So the Praetorian Guard come rushing forward. They break off their weapons. They're ready to go, and Luke just gestures, and they go flying backward in a massive force push. So you see Luke embracing the force power that he has and all that, and you see how strong he has become. He just poof, and Praetorian go flying off screen, either unconscious or whatever you want to call it. Luke then reaches Ben. Ben is struggling. You can see he's conflicted, and Luke tries to reach out to him. He's like, "Ben, I'm sorry. All the random, like a similar thing to what he does with Vader, because that was one of the big issues. It's like you're gonna try and bring Vader back, but then you see something bad in your nephew, and you're immediately gonna kill him. Yeah." So he's like, "Ben, I'm sorry. I should have trusted you. I should have trusted myself." And then he brings up the true story of how the Emperor and Vader were killed. Because I can't recall in the books, in the new canon books, if they actually know how it was. If Ben actually knows how Vader was the one who turned on the Emperor. I mean, it seems to be because Rey obviously does, but I mean, that's an easy edit out. You could just take that line out from an earlier. You could say she could have just said you defeated Vader and the Emperor and stuff like that. Because we do know that one of the reasons that Ben got angry and ticked off at his uncle is like throughout was, and one of the conflicts in the books of between Luke and Leia was they didn't tell Ben initially when he was probably in his mid-teens that he was the grandson of Darth Vader. It came out that Leia was the daughter of Darth Vader from a a rival senator and stuff, and it was like went viral, and that's how he found out. And that's probably what helped lead to his downfall. And maybe you play on that a little bit because, as I said in my previous video, not all the moviegoers are going to read the books. I mean, I haven't read all the books that are new and stuff, and so if I'm not as a massive Star Wars fan, if I don't know all that, casual moviegoers are not. So you could have easily put in like Ben doesn't know. They haven't told anybody that it was Vader who actually killed the Emperor. Everybody thinks that Luke defeated the Emperor and Vader, and that added to his legend. I mean, that could play on to the fact that the legend, I'm not the legendary person you think I am, on that theme. That's right there. So Luke is trying to reach Snoke. Or, I'm sorry, trying to reach Kylo, Ben, whatever you want to call him. And he's telling him the true story. Vader, your grandfather was the one who saved me. He was the one who turned back to the light. You do not have to do this. All this mumbo jumbo, all that stuff. Then Snoke re-enters the conversation, has risen and attacks Luke, tries to force lightning him. Luke does the Yoda thing and deflects it, and he turns to Snoke, and he's like, and Snoke is, you will not take him from me. He is mine. He has always been mine. He will always be mine. And then we get a Snoke-Luke fight that we were hoping for, and probably actually hoping for since Return of the Jedi, because you kind of hoped that Luke would face the Emperor in some way, like an actual Force battle. Now, of course, Return of the Jedi Luke would have been smashed by the Emperor, but still, this way you get Grandmaster Luke, Jedi Master Luke facing against Snoke, who is reportedly the strongest Force user in the galaxy. So it's like that would have been a great scene. And then all of a sudden you have the Praetorian Guard have recovered, they've regained consciousness, whatever, and they come and they attack Rey. And she's fighting them off barely, because I think that's one of the main issues, is like she's so easily defeats the Praetorian Guard in the actual film when she's practiced with the lightsaber for like less than a week and stuff. So maybe 2 weeks at most, because it depends on, did she train or anything? Well, no, probably less than a week, because she didn't train on the trip from Jakku to Maz Kanata's whatever. I mean, or going the other way. It's not like she did that and stuff. So yeah, she's barely holding on. She's getting wounded, because I mean, she only had a slight scratch on her arm when she defeated a couple Praetorian Guard people and stuff in the film. So it's like she's getting beaten up, she's getting bloodied, all this other stuff. She's got cuts and scrapes all over the place. She's calling out for Ben. Ben, please help me. And you switch to Ben, and Ben is struggling again. He's looking back and forth. And then all of a sudden they're about to kill Rey, and Ben jumps into the fight and saves her. And then you can have the Ben and Rey fight back to back. They fight off the Praetorian Guard, mostly with Ben defeating them and stuff. And then in the background you've got Luke facing Snoke. Snoke getting angrier and angrier. Luke, he's deflecting or whatever, dodging all these attacks, and slowly throughout those scenes you see a light filling Luke's body, because in the EU there is not a technique, but a state of oneness that a Jedi can assume with the Force. Luke does this in the EU. His nephew, Jason Solo, who Kylo Ren is somewhat based on, pretty obviously based on, he achieves it as well. And it's a state of which a Jedi can become so attuned with the Force that their physical being pretty much vanishes, and they are just this luminous thing of light, this luminous pillar or this luminous form of light that the Force is literally acting completely through. You are no longer Luke Skywalker or whatever. You are the Force, and you see it slowly growing, and that's how Luke is able to face down Snoke. And in the end, Luke defeats Snoke. He defeats Snoke. Snoke dies. Either the Force, he was using the Force to sustain him, and Luke almost drew it out of him, or he used so much and then Luke cuts him down with a lightsaber or whatever. And then there you go. That way we don't really need to have Luke or Snoke. We don't. I mean, that makes an easy thing. It's like Luke defeats Snoke. It's like, cool. There we go. That's awesome. Then the oneness recedes from Luke, and he collapses onto the ground, completely drained. His face is really sunken in. He's sweating. It's because, I mean, this ability is really, it's like a one-time thing in the sense of either if you do achieve it, you are completely drained. It's like your face becomes sunken, similar to what Palpatine did when he got the lightning reflected onto him by Mace Windu, how his features became sunken and scarred. It's similar to that. You're very, very you're completely exhausted, like you're very weak. So he's just laying on the floor. Rey rushes over to him, helps him up, and they're like, Rey is like, "Come on, Ben, we gotta go, we gotta escape." Because just then, instead of using the Holdo maneuver, maybe you have Holdo truly sacrifice herself, but she either rams the Raddus into the supremacy and stuff, full shields, and then she activates the self-destruct. She just blows that up instead of doing the hyperspace thing, because that's just dumb. It's a beautifully shot, and the sound effects and stuff are really cool, but it just breaks the lore. So instead, she uses it as a true kamikaze, in the sense of ramming into the supremacy. It's breaking apart, but then she activates the reactor cores, and it blows up, and it damages the supremacy exceedingly a lot. So the room is falling apart, all that similar to what we got in the film. Luke sees Kylo or Ben approaching, and he's still kind of weary because he can still sense the conflict within him. And then all of a sudden he's like, "Rey, leave. Rey, go." And she's like, "Well, what are you talking about?" And then Kylo ignites his lightsaber and starts approaching them. He musters up enough strength. He's like, force shoves her away. He's like, "Go, flee, get out of here." And then ignites his lightsaber and is trying to defend himself from Kylo to give Rey enough time to escape. She does flee because he gives her a force command. It's like, "Go." You hear a deep voice in her head, like, go to the Resistance, get out of here. And she leaves, tears streaming down her face, all this stuff, emotional, and she's able to escape. Luke is barely holding on, and he realizes he's not going to be able to defeat Kylo. So he prepares to perform an Obi-Wan, in the sense, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful. But Kylo knows this. And instead of cutting him down, he's like, "I'm not going to kill you. No. I'm not going to kill you." And he knocks Luke's lightsaber out of his hands and then knocks Luke out. Luke just falls to the ground. He's exhausted and all that. And Kylo's standing over him, triumphant. He's like, he feels flush with power and all this and stuff. And then troopers come rushing in. Hux is there. It's like, Snoke is dead in the background, whatever. Hux is like, Kylo, no, I am the new supreme leader. Get this man contained, put him in chains, make sure he cannot move or anything. Troopers come in, they rush him off. Hux is like, "That was Luke Skywalker." It's like, "Yes, now it is." And then Kylo can be like, "Now it is time to finish this." And they go off toward the bridge, secondary bridge of whatever, through the supremacy, to destroy the rest of the Resistance. They're about to. Rey has escaped, gotten on the Falcon. She's gotten picked up however, movie magic, there you go. They reach the rest of the Resistance. They're traveling to Crate. They haven't reached Crate. It's a little different timing and stuff like that, and stuff. So they're trying to get to the Crate. They're on these transports. They're getting ready to be blown out of the sky. Kylo is like, "Get ready we're going to just blow them out of the sky. I don't care how, just get ready, the cannons, all that." Suddenly, another fleet jumps in, and it's the remnants of the New Republic. They've heard the distress call. They've been sending out distress calls like, "Come help us, please, please, please." And the New Republic the remnants of it has gathered together. They've jumped in and are here to rescue them. The Resistance is able to get on board right before the Star Destroyers are rushing in to cut them off, and they jump to light speed. They just jump, and because the Raddus destroyed something, you could also make it so the Raddus's destruction destroyed the tracking thing, and they don't have it anymore. There you go, movie magic. And so that's how the Resistance escapes to fight another day. Kylo is furious, but he spins around and walks off the bridge. And final scene of the film. Final scene of the film is you're in a holding cell on a ship. You have Luke shackled in a prison cell, arms behind his back or whatever. Kylo watching him. Luke looks up and he's like, "Why? Why, Ben? Why did you do this? Why did you choose this?" And then Kylo says, "I am only finishing what he started," harkening back to Force Awakens, when he's a Vader fanboy, and it's also Vader destroying the Jedi. He's finishing fully what to do, and Kylo's like, "I will hunt her down, and she will fall at my blade, and that will be the end of it. And we shall rule. We shall have peace," similar to whatever the Emperor. You can change that dialogue, whatever. Then Kylo walks out of the cell, and the doors close on a battered Luke Skywalker looking down, completely defeated. And then black credits roll. And there you go. That's the end. That could have been a amazing ending. And so obviously between the Resistance fleeing and Luke's final that final scene, you could show a shot of the Resistance regathering, whatever, and another base, something like that. But that right there, those scenes, I think would have made such an awesome ending, because you would have had the cliffhanger of what is Kylo going to do with Luke? How is Luke going to get out of this? Is Rey going to be able to learn enough about the Jedi to help save Luke? Ben has fully turned to Ben has fully turned to the dark side. I mean, you kind of know that anyway now at the actual film, but you get this and it's like, oh wow, and you've done something that Empire didn't do. You're not rehashing what the previous films have done. You've changed the game, and it's, yes, you've got the Emperor Kylo, or Supreme Leader Kylo Ren versus Rey, but you've also got the stakes of Luke is still there. Can he do something? And all this, and you still got a reasonably strong Resistance rather than 30 guys on the Millennium Falcon and stuff. So, but what do you guys think of that? I mean, I think that would have been an awesome ending, really. I don't think I've seen people like talk about that type of ending. I'm sure people theorized that, oh yeah, Luke could confront Snoke and stuff like that. I haven't seen how they would go about doing it, but there you go. I think that would have been such a great ending to the film. I mean, obviously there would have been tweaks earlier in the film to lead up to that, so you would have changed some other stuff, but just those final few 10, 15, 20 minutes of the film would have been such an awesome scene to see, because you would have gotten to see Grandmaster Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. You would have gotten to see Kylo Ren fully turn to the dark side and stuff. You would have seen the Resistance actually have some substance, and you would have seen the remnants of the New Republic realizing, the First Order, yeah, we need to do something about this, so they come to the Resistance's rescue. All that would have, I think, changed a lot of the film, a lot of the setup, and I'm sure JJ would have been really, really happy with this setup going into episode 9 rather than what he got. So, but there you go. Please let me know what you think of the ideas that I had. Please let me know, anything else you guys want me to talk about with Star Wars or other pop culture. Game of Thrones is coming out in a few months. Obviously, there was the news that Daniel Radcliffe thinks that Harry Potter will get rebooted or redone in the future and stuff. So maybe I'll talk about that on another video, what I'd like to see with that, if it does happen, or if it were to happen and stuff. So, but until next time, this is Spencer Fannin. Thank you again. Please like and subscribe the videos. Really want to get some feedback from you guys and all that. So until next time, see ya, and may the Force be with us.